Welcome, Jeremiah. Thanks a lot for this, agreeing to meet us, agreeing to chat up with us. And I hope you're doing well. Results just came out 2, 3 days ago, right? So you must be actually feeling on top of the world.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
This is the first weekend actually. I haven't had much time to celebrate, so I'll probably go out for lunch now.
Okay, great, great. So thanks again, friends. We have Jeremiah with us. Jeremiah is CFA level 2 pass candidate. He's going to be writing level 3 sometime next year. He is also pursuing his CA. He is, currently in CA final. His attempt is in May 25, correct, Jeremiah? Your CA final
Yes.
attempt is May 25. And he is doing his industrial training in Pune in UBS, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's managed to do industrial training plus CFA level 1 and level 2 plus CA inter is passed. And you've already finished BCom or you're pursuing BCom as well?
The finished become.
अच्छा ठीक है great okay so I thought you're doing that course also along with this
No.
ठीक है let's move on so students any of you those of you who are watching can type in your questions in the chat box on YouTube when you're watching this live and I'll of course ask the questions to Jeremiah and then you can get answers. I have a list of questions and first let me get through my set of questions and then of course you guys can put in your questions and I'll be more than happy to take use of Jeremiah there. So just to let you know, Jeremiah is, he's taken level 1 and level 2 coaching from us, from Indigo Learn. He's also taken some subjects for CA final from us, not all subjects, but some subjects is taken from us. And he's going to write CA final exams in May 25, as I just mentioned. Right. So now with the first question that I have, I actually made a bunch of questions for Jeremiah. First one. So Jeremiah, first question, why did you want to first of all do CFA along with CA? I mean, already you're doing a tough course like CA. Why did you want to do CFA along with it?
I basically the main motive was to have a slightly more international scope
Mm-hmm.
because, of course, the CA degree is not very well recognized outside India, uh,
Mm-hmm.
comparatively, especially.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I wanted to, specialize more into the finance side. The CA degree basically is mostly specializing in taxation and audit.
We
So,
studied
and accounting.
AFM also, no?
Yeah, but it's not really known for the specialization, right? If a company wants to hire someone, they mostly go for an MBA in finance or something like that over a CA for a finance role.
Okay. ठीक है. Fair enough. So you wanted international exposure and you wanted to get into finance domain, core
Hmm.
finance. Yes, those are the two answers. ठीक है. Fair enough. Now, next question is, now that you have said all of this, do you think one should parallel? I mean, I know you are pursuing, but do you think that it is one should pursue CFA along with CA, or do you think that there is some merit in, probably finishing some portion of CA, then some CFA, or do you think it's, parallelly pursuing both the courses is the right way to go?
I think it would be subjective
Hmm.
depending on each person's situation. Like, for example, if I was still at a firm, a CA firm, I don't think level two would have been, I would have been able to clear
Why do you say that?
because the working hours are quite
Ah,
long in a CA firm, and it's a 6-day work week also,
okay.
and a variety of factors. It's just I don't think it would have been very possible to do it if you are a CA firm. Level two is much more difficult, and I think it requires a little bit more of quality time to understand all the topics properly, especially from an exam point of view, because that's what in my experience was tested more, your understanding of the topic.
Okay. So you actually that brings me to my next question. So you think level 2 is tougher than level 1?
Yeah, definitely.
On a scale of level 1. So let me ask this question after you finish level 3, which one is the toughest level? But on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate level 1 versus level 2?
I think level one would have been around 5.5
And level
because
2?
a lot of the subjects, especially ethics and FSA, have a high weightage in level one, right?
Mm,
So FSA, a lot of that is just in intermediate and CA level, at least you have a good understanding of it. And
mm.
if you've done your final or you've done your FR and your AFM, especially level one, I think is quite simple comparatively.
And what about,
Level two, I
yeah,
would say is about 7.5
mm.
roughly.
On a scale of 1 to 10, level 2 is 7.5 and level 1 is 5.5. And you said
Yeah,
level 2 is primarily because of deeper conceptual base requirement.
deeper conceptual based requirement, and I think the topics also are were relatively new to me.
Mm.
Yeah, FSA also, even though I've come across a lot of those subjects, I think it focuses more on IFRS versus US GAAP and the application of that.
So
So it
what
was
do you
quite
think is
different.
tough? So if you, I mean, I keep hearing that you're saying FSA and ethics and all. What is your
Mm.
toughest, what is the toughest topic according to you in level 2 versus level 1?
Mm, like from an understanding perspective, I think it would have been cons.
Where level 2 or
The
level,
level two,
okay, level 2
level
quant
two,
stuff.
the first two chapters. But
Okay.
since the weightage is less, I would say probably on a content to weightage scale, uh, an effort also. I think derivatives requires you to have a have a very good understanding of the core
Hmm.
matter.
Hmm. ठीक है.
All the put calls, all it's you really need to have your basics in
Correct,
order.
correct, correct, correct. Okay. ठीक है, fair enough. Now, because we already, I think you already answered what are the common topics in CA inter and final versus level 1 and level 2. I think you've answered it to a certain extent, right? That FR and AFM cover a decent percentage of level 1 and level 2. So, in a level 1, how much do you think is covered by a CA inter student?
Um, for a CA of someone who's completed your CA inter,
Completed in CA inter.
um, like I wouldn't count ethics in that.
No, no, that's fair enough. But on overall basis, top of your mind, if you're a CA inter
So
pass, how much percentage of level 1 syllabus is done for you?
roughly, I would say 50 to 60%.
50 to 60%.
Mhm.
Okay. And if you're a CA final pass, how much of level 1 is done?
I wouldn't know yet.
You're studying CA final, right? So that's why I'm asking. You're already halfway through final.
Yeah.
Somewhere similar
No.
because
For
it is
what
level 1.
level one?
Yeah.
Yes, because SFM, I think a lot of the topics are covered.
Mm.
Of course it's a different approach. In SFM, you are more inclined to solve problems and calculate. There's so many tables. You need to draw the tables. You need to do the calculations. It's in CFA at least there's not that much. As
So,
long as
but
you get the understanding of the thing, I think it helps you
okay.
quite a
Now,
bit.
if, let's say if you're writing level 2, a CA
Mhm.
intermediate pass student, how much of knowledge would he have of level 2?
Not much. Not
Not
much.
much. 5,
Mm.
10%.
5-10%. Yeah, I think that would be accurate.
Okay. And a CA final pass student of level 2?
Slightly more, probably 20-25%, because FR I think helps a lot.
Okay, ठीक है, fair enough. Fair enough. So I'm just summarizing for a CA inter or CA final pass student, level 1 coverage is broadly 50-60%. And
Mm.
for a CA inter pass student, level 2 coverage is about 5 to 10%. And CA final pass student, the coverage is about 20 odd percent,
Yeah,
level 2, right? This
seems
is
right.
what you just mentioned. Okay. So, so you obviously think your CA prep does help you in your CFA to certain extent, if not fully, but to certain extent, some concepts become slightly simpler and easier, right?
True.
Yeah. ठीक है. Now the next question is, how many days did you prepare for level 2? I wanted in, let us split it into two parts. For level 2, before exams, where you did this intensive prep, how many days of intensive prep was it? And per day, how many hours did you study for level 2? I'm asking about level 2.
So basically, think till December at least my SFM lectures were going on concurrently. I think we started somewhere towards the end of November lectures, right?
Correct.
After Diwali.
Yep.
So till at least December, I was still doing my SFM, and then like seriously, I started from January onwards.
Hmm.
And I was just checking my diary actually last night, and it would some days it would be half an hour,
Hmm.
some days it would be in the weekdays I'm talking about.
Hmm.
The some days it would go around 4.5
Hmm.
maybe, and on weekends maybe 6 to 8 hours
Now, this is before your exam leave, right?
before exam leave. Yeah,
Oh, so
exam
even
leave it would be around 10 to 12 hours
so
because two
12 hours a
weeks
day, exam leave for how many days?
I took 2 days, 2 weeks, sorry, 2 weeks work from, sorry, two
I
weeks
mix of all these things, I understand.
leave.
Yeah,
Yeah,
15 days for 12 hours each before the exam. And before that,
yeah,
you say about what, another 40, 50 days
40, 50 days of
preparation
intensive.
before the, yeah, not non in before exam leave, 50 days
Uh-huh.
of study every day, probably 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that. How would you put it?
I think again this would be quite subjective,
Okay.
depending because I've met a lot of people in the last year or so.
Hmm.
So some of them have cleared yeah L2. I met two people in Mumbai actually around half a year ago. They had cleared their L2 and they claimed to have finished it, preparing for it in only a month. But
Okay.
there was a factor that they were pursuing the articleship at their parents' firms.
Acha.
So, so that depends where you're pursuing, how your working conditions are.
See. No,
Uh,
what I'm trying to arrive at, Jeremiah,
mhm.
is the 300-hour number that the institute puts out, is that accurate? Do you need more than that, less than that? What range? I mean, is it 300 or is it 400? That's basically my question.
No, I would say it would be more than 300.
How much more?
Uh, I think I personally would have gone around 400, 500.
So 400 to 500 is your estimate, out of which
Yeah.
roughly 200 hours is, last 15 days, and balance
Mhm.
200 to 250 hours is, 5 months or spread over 4 5 months.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Because if you see, like I solved around say 2000 questions.
oh, good.
So I think those questions, if you take, it should take around 50, 60 hours just solving questions.
So you did all the marks of Kaplan-Schweizer, is it? Or
No, I
NC
did. No, I did one Kaplan Schweizer mock.
and?
I had 66 in that,
Hmm.
and then I went to the CFA mocks, which I think one I got 73, and the other one I got 75.
So CFA, both the free mocks you took. You didn't take any paid mock of CFA.
No, no, I don't think that's required. Yeah,
Okay, ठीक है. So paid mock is not required, but free mocks definitely CFA Institute you have to do both. And
definitely.
Schweitzer you did one, and in addition to that, you solved the entire question bank of Schweitzer, 2000 odd.
No, no. I so basically Schweizer, for example, has if you see they have applied and they have fundamental questions,
Correct. Correct.
right? So I can't remember the exact number, but I think there were questions left. So I prioritized answering the applied questions more
Yes. So they have
because
total about 2500 odd questions for level two.
okay,
So
yeah. So
if you would have answered half of them or something like that, if you're counting even the mocks as questions.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I think the CFA Institute has around 1,500 on their website.
Oh,
Out
but
of that, I
those mocks, those questions are fully free.
those are fully free. Yeah. They
That,
haven't. I
but that in
think
addition to that, you take mocks, is it?
yeah. I
Okay.
solved the Kaplan Schweizer question bank first. Like
Hmm.
I think this would be a appropriate strategy if you're going if you have Kaplan Schweizer access to the
Hmm.
online material.
Hmm.
So basically, you read your readings, your one chapter readings.
Hmm.
You go first and you answer the. They have this per reading. I think they have a test
Correct.
after question bank after each reading. So you answer that basically, and then you go for the fundamental questions, which are more case study type and are more exam oriented because all of the questions are case
Hmm.
study in the
No,
exam.
you've been applied, I guess.
Yes, in applied.
Okay.
Applied the all the
Not,
applied questions are case studies
yeah, yeah,
basically.
not fundamental.
The
Yeah.
Yeah, the fundamental ones are just a single one-off question.
Yeah.
And then I would say go to the CFA Institute because those questions they're a bit more lengthy, and there's the difficulty level is slightly more
Hmm.
basically. And if you're running short on time, I would suggest they have this tier where they rank each question as easy, moderate, difficult, and expert. So if you're running short on time, maybe just go at the difficult and the expert level.
Okay. Now, these questions of the CFA Institute, what are there on their website? Are they same as the questions that are there in the CFA ebook or physical books?
Yes, they are. But
Ah,
the problem happens, I think the ebooks aren't free anymore. You need to pay $125 or something
oh,
for
okay.
ebooks.
Hmm.
Yeah, so those are the same, it's the same questions at the back of the chapter
Ah,
in
okay.
the LES.
Cheek. Fair enough. Fair enough. That was interesting. That was a good deep dive into what your preparation strategy was.
Mm,
Now coming to the tougher one, which is what do you think is the ideal time to start level one or level two? Do you think it is, when you're doing BCom, or let's say you're a CA student, when you're doing immediately after foundation, should you start? After inter, should you start? How does it match up with your, articleship or industrial training? So based on what would you advise? How would you advise a CA student planning to, take up CFA? When do you think they should do it? I mean, one is ideal, but then, please also highlight the pitfalls that they may face if, they do it during certain times.
mm. Um, I started it basically as soon as not soon as I started it 6 months into my industrial training. Not industrial, yeah, articles.
Okay, so you
So
finished, you did it after inter or you did before inter?
before, after
After.
inter,
Hmm.
just so the institute doesn't allow you to do more than one degree concurrently with
Correct,
the CA degree,
correct,
right? So
correct.
just as soon as I finished my BCom,
Hmm.
which was 6 months into my articleship, I started my CFA.
Hmm.
So I think preferably you should start as early as possible because I think you require your undergrad degree, right, to
Correct.
answer the exam.
Hmm. You can
So
be an
that
undergrad student as well.
so
You can be an undergrad student as well, but then you have this problem of undergrad plus CA plus CFA and all that.
I think you can register while you're a student, but I think to answer the exam you need to
No, no, you
have
can
the
write
degree
the
now.
exam in second year of BCom itself.
Oh, okay. They've
You
changed that.
can
Oh,
do.
yeah, they've changed that last year.
Yeah, yeah. Last year they changed. As an undergrad
Mm-hmm.
student, you can write level one in second year of BCom and level two in third year of BCom, provided you have cleared level, of course. Level one, of course.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you would suggest doing it, as early as possible, irrespective of CA, non-CA, BCom, non-BCom, and all that. You say do as early as possible.
As early as possible because later on, as you as time passes, you have more responsibility, I think, and it becomes difficult to manage
But no, but
later on.
you don't have the subject knowledge required. I mean, because you're a CA inter pass, it was easier for you to do level one. If it's a just normal BCom student, don't you think it'd be tough for them?
It would be tougher for a normal BCom student, but if you're an intermediate cleared, I don't think you should have much trouble with your level one.
Okay.
And level two, I don't think it your CA preparation has much weightage, right? Unless you've cleared your final.
Hmm.
If you've cleared your final, what I would recommend is basically a lot of companies do finance your CFA
Yeah.
degree as well, right? So if you have already cleared your CA final or you're nearing completion, I would recommend just waiting it out.
Hmm. Why do you think? I mean, don't you think that having a CFA level one or level two on your resume along for campus placements for CA will actually help you get a better placement rather than waiting for
Mm,
finishing the CA program?
True. But if you're towards the end of the CA program, if you have, say, 1 year left to your articleship,
Hmm.
I
Then
would think
you're at
maybe
the
wait
last
it
leg
out.
of CA and you're preparing for final, then it becomes difficult to concentrate on CFA.
It becomes difficult because I would say at least minimum you'll require 3 months to
Hmm.
prepare for
Hmm.
your level one, and if you're at the end of your if you're nearing your CA final, that there is that added pressure.
Hmm.
So it
And
probably
exam
will not
cycles
be
also clash, right? You have May and November both clashing.
May and November, yes, true. But then level one, I think, has in February and August as well, right?
Yeah, correct. Correct.
Mm.
Okay. So your broad suggestion is do this early as possible. If it is not early, then do it between inter and immediately after you clear inter and before final, try and finish a level or two. Otherwise,
Mm.
wait out till you finish CA final. Correct? Broadly, that is what you're saying.
Yeah, and as per whatever knowledge I have of asking and just reading these articles, it would be best if you have at least two levels
Hmm.
before before you go for your campus placement,
Hmm. Acha,
because
you're saying level one is of no use if you're a CA final pass.
it
It adds little value.
it is of value slightly, but comparatively, if you compare the value added, a level two adds much more value to your resume, as per what I've heard.
No, you're right. You're right. Absolutely right. So, but then
Mhm.
by that logic, don't you think somebody should also do an FRM?
It would depend on what you want to specialize in, I
Hmm.
guess,
Hmm.
because a lot of people in my office also have the FRM degree.
Hmm.
So if you want, I believe in FRM specializes in risk, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So depending if you want to have in maybe capital adequacy or something like that.
Hmm.
If you want to go towards more towards portfolio management or equity or investment banking, maybe CFA would be better.
Okay. So then after now, we wish you all the best for your final. So after final and CFA, I'm pretty sure, you'll complete both CFA and CA final with flying colors. Do you plan to do an MBA also?
Uh, yeah, hopefully.
No, but do you think after doing these two, you still need an MBA at all?
I think the main benefit of an MBA in today's age is just the networking effect it would
Hmm.
have, right?
Hmm.
Um, so depending on like in 2 3 years where I am and what my goals will be at that time, I would probably consider it, depending on how things are at work and things
Hmm.
are in my life. But
Oh,
mostly, if I want to have a good networking effect, I think an MBA, especially from a very good college, would help.
okay. Understood.
I think you can attest to that as well.
Yeah, yeah. So I can attest to that. An MBA will always help because this is the age and day and age of specialization. If you do, I mean, everybody, there are people who work in the markets with PhDs. So in
Mm.
finance, various other domains. So it is the age of specialization. You can't expect a single degree to get you a job unless you are, all India first ranker. Right. Then that's a very different story. But for rest of us, most of us normal people, we need to have at least a couple of degrees. So that and it also gives you a path to figure out कि मुझे ये अच्छा लगता है or do I like that or this, what do I want to do? You're more exposed to various concepts. It actually helps you in your placement. So there are a variety of reasons why one should do it. And as you rightly pointed out, networking and all that. Right. So I absolutely agree. The students who have the ability, capability, who have the that ambition should definitely do an MBA. It is a lot of people keep writing off MBA saying that what I will do some online MBA and all that. Please don't do any of that bullshit. Please do it in a
Yeah,
good place. It is expensive. Most of the MBA schools abroad are fairly expensive. Even in India, places like ISB are expensive. Even IIMs cost you close to 10-15 lakhs. So it is expensive, but it is still worth it. Okay.
true.
So do you don't think CFA was expense was a major criteria for you for I mean was it not discouraging for you that it is expensive?
Uh, I have the I think I have the luxury of coming from a financially stable background. So
No, what I meant was, do you think that you use your internship money for funding this or things like that? Do you think that probably is a better way to handle CFA if at all people are concerned about cost of
uh,
CFA?
if probably for level two, but level one, especially if you're starting off at your intermediate,
Hmm.
at your articleship, your stipend will probably just be,
Hardly anything.
15,
But you think it's a
20,000.
worthy investment, right?
It is a worthy investment. Yes, definitely, because when you are going for your campus placement, right? Your first package. I think a lot of people tell me this is your first package determines a lot going forward in your career,
Hmm.
your increments, and like where you start is important. So if when you start, if you have a very good resume, if you have something like two levels of CFA, it will help you get in get that much more of a package.
See, fair enough. Fair enough. So that was a good discussion, Jeremiah. Now last question. What any advice before we wind up? Any advice that you have CFA students, what they should do, how they should proceed? CA students or CFA students. Any specific advice that you want to give? Because I don't see any questions anybody asking, but
Mm.
I thought probably this better way in which you can say what is the one or two advice pieces of advice that you would give to CA or CFA students or people who are pursuing both.
I think for people who are just pursuing, first I'll just start with people who are just pursuing your CFA with probably your BCom or BBA. Uh, I think it will be a little bit more challenging for y'all,
Mhm.
but just practice basically, and especially if you have a prep provider like Indigo or Schwezer. There are these small bite-sized videos at the end of each LOS for Schwezer especially, which are very helpful. So if you have difficulty in understanding, you can always watch those. But the most important thing I think would be to answer your questions, regardless if you have a CA or a BCom background. Just practice, practice, practice.
Okay. And for people who are doing together, both together.
I would say just be consistent. Be consistent. It may seem a lot at the start,
Mhm.
and it might seem a lot at the end also before you answer also your exam. But I think from my experience at least, uh, the exam is usually much more easier if you've prepared, and it's much more easier than you anticipate actually if you've
So,
prepared.
so basically, prepare for the worst, do your best kind of stuff.
True, true. Like last time, for example, the relief was more towards the result date
Mhm.
for level one, but for level two, I think I was quite unsure when I went in for the exam also. Like the portion is so vast, questions can come more questions. The range of the questions can be so much more. Um, I think the relief instead of coming from more towards the result date was just when I answered the exam, because the exam was like in a way that I just knew, like, yeah, I'm going to pass. It
Okay.
isn't that, it wasn't that difficult as expected. Definitely 70, 75 I'll get.
अब आओ बेटा level 3 में आओ, we'll see how it is.
Let's see.
Good, good,
Yeah.
good. So fair enough. That was a very insightful set of discussion. Questions that that you chose to answer. Very, very interesting. Information. So just again, one odd topic. So you found our classes useful. The faculty who teach, the information that they give, the practical exposure that they bring to the table. Do you think that is useful at all? You can be frank. It just because I am the one asking on my channel on my Zoom, you need not respond positively. You can give your frank opinion. Do you think those kind of classes, lectures by faculty who are experienced, who understand what they're talking, who basically have experience in the same domain, do they help or it is not much?
I think for level two, definitely you should get a prep provider if if you can manage financially. It is a big help. It is a huge help actually, especially for topics like derivatives, or I think in level two, fixed income quite was quite intriguing actually. And the syllabus also is very intuitive. Level one, maybe if you can do it yourself,
Mm.
but level two, I would definitely suggest you take a prep provider just for that extra push and that support, because you really do require it. Sometimes topics aren't as easy to understand as they are at level one.
ठीक. Fair enough. Fair enough. So let's see if I've got any questions. So somebody is asking, Nikhil, is math difficult in CFA? So I don't know whether it's asking for level 1 or level 2. We can please respond for both levels.
Both the levels, I would say maths is very minimal. The calculator really helps, because
Talking about that heteroscedasticity and all that stuff, no, you don't think that is all that tough, new and
I,
alien concepts.
I think that is very minimal.
Hmm.
And heteroscedasticity and all those multicollinearity, it's difficult to pronounce even now. Um, but yeah, those are very minimal. Definitely have a basic understanding of that. But like so for example, you don't have to calculate your NPV or your IRR. The calculator does that for you. Even your discounted cash flows and all that, you just need to enter it into the calculator. You get your answer. So maths is very less, I would say.
So it is not
Calculation.
generally people make it out, you need to be strong in math to actually understand CF, do CFA. Do you think that's a fair?
No, no, definitely not. Definitely not. And just an experience that I had during the exam, at least for all the calculation sums, right? So basically, I think at least if you prepare enough, the options that they'll give you, I think you can backtrack and get the what under which condition this answer would have been right, and then
Okay.
you can match it up against the question, what the conditions are in the question, and that was very helpful, I think, for my when I gave the level two recently.
Okay. Okay. So
So you
according to
know that this question is wrong, this answer is wrong, this option is wrong.
Oh, okay. Okay. No, but okay, let me put the question differently because
Mm-hmm,
I have this personal perception.
mm-hmm,
People should not be afraid of math. It is not
mm-hmm.
very difficult. You're not taught any PhD level math. It's very basic math. But at the
True.
same time, most of the other topics, let's say in fixed income or derivatives and other places, you use math. If you don't understand mathematical logics of present value or time value, then powers and all that, it becomes
Mm-hmm.
difficult. That is my the way I look at it. Do you subscribe to that, or you think even that is also you need not be a great person in math. Even if you hate math, you can still do CFA.
I wouldn't say like for example, my own story, if I would say in my 10th and my 12th, my lowest scoring subject for maths,
How much?
it's not in commerce, yes. I
No, no,
think
no.
it
How much?
was
How many marks? That's the key point. 99 is
how
also.
many marks? No, for 10th, that would have held true. Like it was, I think, I had a 98 in two subjects, and all the other subjects were 90s, and maths I had 89.
Okay.
But for 12th standard, what happened? Because there's a handicap if you go for CBSE, right? CBSE doesn't give you commerce maths. They give you engineering maths. You
Yeah,
need
yeah,
to
correct. Coordinate geometry, then the deep
yeah
different
CBSE.
calculus and
Like
all.
if someone is going for CBSE commerce, I would strongly suggest probably don't do that because even for your accounts, as per my knowledge, you aren't allowed to use a calculator,
Hmm.
which is anyways. But so for my 12th, it was 95. I scored in three subjects. I got 92 in accounts and I got 60 something in maths.
That's the point I'm trying to make. That is precisely what I was trying to get at. So if you're a
Yeah, and
C class
I
12.
think I'm all right now.
Yeah, correct. That is precisely what I wanted to communicate. But you don't hate maths, right? It is not that you dislike math. It is just that, that was tough. That was a different era. For CFA,
Yeah.
that is not required.
Yeah, you if you're thinking like your trigonometry and all, you don't have that. It's just basic knowledge maths which you really should have if you want to make a career in this field.
Exactly. Correct. That's a
Which
very
we have.
insightful point, Jeremy. And thanks
Hmm.
for openly, transparently sharing your marks. I myself am scared of but very nice of you to actually be very honest and candid about your marks. So fair enough. That was one question that Nikhil had asked, and I hope you have answered. Math is not difficult. It is you have to have an inclination for maths. You need not be an expert in maths. Even if you're
True.
a 60, 70 marks in maths, it is fine in class 12.
Yeah.
Okay. You can
Just
clear
get your basics right.
level one, level two, you can clear far quickly in first attempt as well. ठीक है.
True.
Fair enough, guys. So I think Jeremiah, I think that was a wonderful interaction that we had. Thanks a lot for sparing your time on on a Saturday afternoon, right?
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So and I wish you all the very best for your level three as well as CA final exams. And I do hope that we catch up again and after a year when post finishing your level three.
Definitely, definitely.
ठीक है चलो thanks a lot guys any of you viewers on YouTube who have any questions please feel free to email us at support@indigolearn.com and me or I'll if required I'll reach out to Jeremiah and get his feedback otherwise post some comments on this video and we'll probably try and get back to you or reach out to us at 9640 111110. So the number is visible in the description of this video as well. So you can reach out to us and our team will be more than happy to assist you. So once again, thanks a lot, Jeremiah, and really appreciate sparing this time. And see you
Thank
by
you.
you viewers. All the best. Bye.